Yo, it looks like we're live. Oh my goodness. Okay. Is there some kind of big time delay? All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on. Oh shit, they're here. Well, you knew I was coming. Let's see if they silence me. Am I banned? Nothing's going on here, okay. I want to get higher up. I don't even know. Like, I know Erica. I don't know Shelby or Ethan or Murphy or John. I don't know these people at all. I don't hear anything. Am I banned? I bet you I'm banned. Wow. 19 people. Out of the 19 people that were willing to show up to the HS staff meet and greet, they had to ban the one person, me. Are you serious? I really hope not. Sad.
Well, as update you guys on what we've been doing here at Humanity Forward. I know there's a lot of different kind of arms to, and hopefully kind of laid out clearly for you guys. We have several different organizations within the Humanity Forward kind of umbrella. So our first organization is our 501c3 nonprofit, and that is called the Humanity Forward Foundation. Ethan Dunn, who is on the call here, he is our program director and kind of manages our 501c3. So any initiatives that you see that are involved, the 1K project, where a family sponsors a family in need $1,000 a month for 3 months, that's all run through the 501c3, as well as the UBI trials that we're doing around the country.
Notice they say 501c3, not 501c4.
And then any direct cash relief initiatives that we've been doing throughout the pandemic, that's all run through that.
We'll talk about that later.
Called Humanity Forward Foundation. Then we also have a PAC, or a political action committee, that manages our candidate support and endorsement process. So throughout the primaries and the general election, Andrew Yang endorsed numerous candidates that he thought kind of were in the values of Humanity Forward, you know, UBI, advocates, whatever it was. And so that was all run through typically our PAC. And then our last organization that we have is the 501c4. And that is an organization with a political arm.
There's a law,
and that is what we are really kind of the front facing, the one that we're part of the organization that we're pushing a lot right now. And that's what this new advocacy campaign is run through.
There's no law that says
and so to give you kind of a very high level of what this looks like, you know, since March, we've delivered nearly $10 million in cash relief to over 20,000 American families impacted by the pandemic. And so after seeing firsthand how, you know, impactful this cash relief has been for all these families, Andrew's decided to launch a national advocacy campaign to every, you know, to get UBI and to get cash relief to every American family during this crisis. So, you know, one way to look at it is we're essentially relaunching Andrew's presidential campaign, but not to elect Andrew as president, but to pass universal basic income in Congress. So, you know, we'll require a national political operation, media blitz, paid communications. It's quite an undertaking, as you can imagine. But we wanted to kind of tell you guys more about this today. And if you like what you hear at the end of the call and, you know, we answer your questions, we would love for and appreciate any sort of contribution or donation that you all can make towards this initiative. Anything helps, I promise. It's the end of the month, so we're hoping that we can hit our November goal by kind of ending it with this exciting, you know, meet and greet with the staff. So we'll have an ActBlue link circulating throughout. So if you are able, please chip in towards this. You will help us get, you know, one step closer to making UBI a reality. So awesome. Yeah. So just to go ahead and get started, we'll introduce some of our staffers here. I want to start with introducing Erica McLeod. A lot of you guys have probably worked with her before. She is our Director of Organizing and Operations, and she can talk to you guys a little bit about what she does here at Humanity Forward.
Yeah, hey, everybody. So happy to be here and do a little bit of meeting and greeting with all of our followers. Very excited to tell you about what I do. Organizing and operations is just so exciting, isn't it? As the operations portion of my role includes IT, accounting, and all the business matters. If we had an office, I would be ordering snacks and maybe some cold brew for the staff, but we don't have an office right now, so I don't get the pleasure of accommodating our staff with those things. But mostly what I do is make sure that things are running smoothly and efficiently, and I just provide the tools that our staff needs to get their daily jobs done. Like in terms of organizing, I run a volunteer management. I manage the volunteer network that we have. I have about 13 team leads that are responsible for email response. So when you send in an email to info@movehumanityforward.com, there is a team of people there that respond to those emails, and
I've been waiting
lead those people out. Humanity hangs, texting, writing, calling. We have a tech and data team that has built a beautiful portal at volunteers.movehumanityforward.com. So I would love it if you guys haven't already would sign up there and get registered with us, so you can be abreast of what all of our volunteer opportunities are. And then finally, I do coordination with our chapters, state chapters. So we are building that out right now. We have states like New York, California, Arizona, Texas that are very interested in starting a chapter. So if you aren't plugged in, go to volunteers.movehumanityforward.com and get plugged in with our programs. So that's pretty much what I do. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Awesome. We'll hold questions till in a few minutes, and then please feel free to ask any questions kind of specifically towards any of these staffers as well. The next one is Ethan Dunn, and he is our program director and manages the 501c3 kind of nonprofit arm, and he'll talk to you a little bit as well.
Hi, everyone. As Shelby mentioned, my name is Ethan Dunn. I am the Foundation Director and Programs Director at Humanity Forward. So principally kind of running the 501c3 foundation side of things. I'm sure I would recognize many of you from the campaign trail. I also worked with Shelby on the advance team during Yang's run. So in terms of the foundation, Shelby, I think, put it best in terms of the things that we focus on have been pandemic-related cash relief. So as Shelby mentioned up front, we've effectively been able to get out nearly $10 million to over 20,000 American families since the start of the pandemic in March. Honored to have been able to make that happen, and it really is the kind of catalyst or has been the impetus for this national UBI advocacy campaign that Liam has come on board to kind of spearhead, and that Andrew is so excited about. Many of the findings from this past 9 months or so of putting cash into Americans' hands, this serves as the foundation for the case that we're bringing to Congress to include checks in forthcoming COVID stimulus packages. And so the foundation has really played a large role in making that number possible. In addition to coronavirus relief, one of the main focuses of the
live stream, baby. Excuse me. Are they going to talk about it? We're just going to stay silent on it. We're going to see.
Has been designing, developing, implementing, funding universal basic income pilots.
They say they're going to be answering questions. I got a whole bunch of questions.
The one that you may all have heard of that just recently launched in October is our Hudson Up UBI pilot. So 25 Hudson, New York residents have been selected to receive $500 a month for 5 years.
What about me?
We're really excited about this pilot for a variety of reasons. It's one of the only pilots taking place in the United States in a small town. Hudson is only about 6,000
the demographics
in terms
that
of population, and most of the pilots that you see out there, Stockton, Minneapolis, Compton, are all in cities that are much larger. And so this is an opportunity to kind of showcase what the impact of basic or guaranteed income is in, what a majority of places in America actually look like. And then the other thing that, is unique about this pilot is the fact that it will be taking place over the course of 5 years versus some of the other pilots that you see that are typically 12 to 18 months and sometimes 24 months. So, by virtue of that duration, we're going to be able to get a lot of insight into how basic income really affects lives and families and communities over a long period of time. We have a couple other pilots in the works that you all will hear about in early 2021. We're very excited about these as well. And more details are forthcoming on that front. And then finally, the last project that you may have heard of and know of is the Data
on a Zoom thing,
project, which also
but they
follows under
should
the
be
foundation,
interacting
which
with
is
this Facebook
an initiative, co-founded by Andrew to get consumers paid for the use of their data, particularly in California and some of these other states where new data legislation makes that possible. And yeah, very exciting things going on at Humanity Forward Foundation. Happy to answer any questions, and great to be here with y'all.
Awesome. Thank you, Ethan. Next, we will go to John Liu, who is our digital director, and he'll give you kind of an update.
Cool. Yeah, so I'm the digital director. I do digital things, websites, social media, merch. That's pretty much it. I'm done.
Great. And then we also finally have Murphy here. We call him Murphy. His name's Connor Murphy, and he is our email director.
Hey everybody, my name is Connor Murphy, go by Murphy here at Humanity Forward. I started out in the Yang Gang directing the precinct captain operation in Nevada and Iowa, which was a blast. Shout out to all my precinct captains. Super proud of you guys. Now I'm the email director. So what that normally means is I spend most of my time as a writer in service of the many things that Humanity Forward gets involved in. So that sort of reaches into everybody's world. I work with Erica on volunteering in the organizing world, which is a ton of fun. I help out with the fundraising operations, selling merch. So if any of you guys got an email over this past weekend about some of our Cyber Weekend merch deals, that was probably written by me. And as well as supporting candidates through the PAC and any causes that are really in line with the vision of Humanity Forward, with what Andrew stands for. All of those sort of ranked choice voting initiatives that were on the ballot for a lot of folks in the country. Those things I get to help out by letting voters know about all that when it's happening in their states. So I get the luxury of working with everybody, which is a ton of fun, and I get to write for a living, which is also kind of a dream come true for me. So if anyone has any questions about the email program, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Perfect. So you guys now have been able to meet a few of our key staffers here. There's definitely a few others that were not able to make it, but we'll do more of these, I'm sure, in the future, and you'll get an opportunity to meet some. But I do want to introduce our special guest here, our advocacy director that has helped us kind of launch this new advocacy campaign, Liam DeClivelo.
Right,
and he will give you guys an update on what he is doing, what this campaign really is, more in detail than what I did. And then he'll take a few questions before he hops off. Liam, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Shelby. Can you guys hear me all right? Yes, okay, great. Yeah, well, I didn't realize I was supposed to live up to being a special guest. I'm just a normal member of the team, but I'm very excited to be talking with all of you and to share with you a little bit about what it is that we're doing. So yeah, my name's Liam. I am the advocacy director here at Humanity Forward. What that basically entails is trying to marshal our efforts, translating all of the grassroots energy around the policy ideas that all of us are so excited about, that brought many of you into the Yang Gang, that brought you into the Humanity Forward organization and apparatus, and leverage that to actually get policy changes in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, let's see what state he's in.
I'll just say a little bit about this, which is that I think, as we all recognize, we're in a really unique moment right now with the crises the country's going through, with the realizations that people are having. Frankly, I can share from my conversations with folks in DC and in Congress that there is like this mass realization that is now taking place. And it's unfortunate that it required such a tragic period of events and such a tragic period of crisis to make this happen. But one of the silver linings of this moment is that there is a mass realization about the extent of the suffering in this country on the part of members of Congress. They're getting inundated with calls and emails from their constituents. Every story about small businesses that closes, someone that can't afford to pay their rent, someone that is losing their job, someone that can't afford to, do what they need to do to raise their kids, the folks who are in those long stretches of lines at food banks, all of that members of Congress are hearing about in a way that they have not heard before. And so they are being compelled into action. And so it's a real opportunity for us to say, okay, what are the kinds of things we can do in a moment like this when there's this mass realization that big action needs to be taken? And one of those things is something we all know and we all are excited about, which is the idea of direct cash relief, right? Getting money directly, not into some program, but directly into people's hands so that they can use it for themselves and their families in the way that they know best. And there's a real opportunity to pass that. And so all the work that you all here are doing, donating, volunteering, organizing, that is what we're working to leverage to actually get policies changed and passed, particularly in the short term over the next number of months as Congress puts together a COVID-19 stimulus package. So that's what I'm working on. And all of the work that you all are doing goes directly into that and is so critical. But Shelby, let me know if there's anything else you wanted me to add on to that. But I'm happy to take questions if there are any.
Awesome. Yeah, so hopefully that's kind of a high level overview for you guys. There will be more details to come in the next few months. And so, don't feel like that's all you get. There will be a lot of updates, especially starting in the new year of kind of members that are on board with this. What does this plan look like? Kind of the timeline of this and our progress updates. So more to come, I promise. I want to go ahead and, since Liam is on here for a short period of time, to see if anybody has any questions specifically for this advocacy campaign initiative. If not, we have had some other questions in the chat and I'll direct them towards those people. But if anybody has a question about this advocacy kind of efforts and campaign, please put them in the chats and then Liam can answer them and I'll go through them.
Great. Excellent. Can I just say one thing while you're waiting for the questions to come in? Great. I was just going to add one thing, which is the thing that is so exciting about an issue like this, is that when you're taking this issue to DC, because there's all this energy, right? Like you look at the numbers. 82% of Democrats across the country say that they want direct recurring cash relief throughout the pandemic period. Same 64% of Republicans, 67% of independents say the exact same thing. In battleground states won by both President Trump and President-elect Biden, 74% of voters said that they were in favor of direct recurring monthly cash relief payments. So this is broadly supported across the board. And so what's so exciting is that there's this opportunity to really make progress on a big issue like this and have it be done in a genuinely bipartisan way, where it's not controversial, where it's not overly partisan, but where people on all around the table and all around the country can get behind one
he's talking about Congress,
one vision
that's not really affecting this guy's real
life.
That
doesn't happen with a lot of issues. A lot of other big issues, it's one side is the sort of the partisan battle lines are already drawn. It makes it very difficult for things to happen. And with this, that is not yet the case. And so there's such openness when you're talking to members of Congress. We've talked to folks, both Republicans and Democrats, and you have people who I don't think that you would necessarily expect to be open to this because they see the overwhelming support there from people. So what you all are doing when you're spreading the word, so just, speaking to sort of what everyone here is doing, when you're spreading the word about universal basic income or direct cash relief, and you're talking about the need for relief, especially during this moment in time, that is trickling up to the politicians and they're hearing about it. And so there's an opportunity to do something in a big bipartisan way that there normally is not in DC, which is very exciting. Okay, Shelby, do we have cues? Or should we go on to the next thing?
I think we can go on. We've got some questions for kind of just more general questions. So I think we can go on to those.
Well, they cut me off. They
Thank
come
you,
out
Liam.
before they answer the questions. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so the first question that I saw in the
Maybe
chat,
not
this
for
is
them.
from earlier on. I'll direct this towards Ethan. Is how to apply for COVID relief. So families in need. What is the best way to do that? Should they go through the 1K
Erica's
project,
disturbed. She does not want me
or
reading off
should
my
they
questions.
just apply on the website? What's the process
It's up to
for
them,
that?
though. She's got to count on them to carry her bag.
Yeah, of course.
The director of
So,
operations,
you know,
they're
there's
not gonna, are they going to
been
do you
a
dirty?
couple of different instances of coronavirus relief that we've had at Humanity Forward over the
Listen,
past
it's not doing
8 to
anybody
9
dirty.
months.
Honesty is not dirty.
Currently, the
Sometimes
program that
we
we're
mess up.
focusing on is the 1K
No one's
project,
above
as I mentioned earlier, and
repercussions
as
or
Shelby sort of
consequences
spoke
or
to.
accountability.
For that process, at least as of right now, it does require a nomination from either a family or a previous employer or an organization that is in some way connected to the 1K project. So the 1K project has a vast network of companies, small businesses, employers, et cetera, for whom, you know, they can nominate families and individuals that, you know, either they know have suffered income loss by virtue of losing hours or losing employment altogether. There's partner organizations that we've kind of worked with in order to also develop that pipeline. But as of right now, the way to go about getting nominated for 1K is to be nominated. And again, that's something, you know,
you could help right now.
By one of those 3 channels, you can make happen. The alternate method for those that maybe that's not an option for is to go over to our microgrants page. We are still, you know, we have, I will be, you know, entirely candid, we do have a backlog of hundreds of thousands of folks, which just speaks to the magnitude of the problem that we're trying to solve here with this advocacy campaign effort. We do have, as I mentioned, you know, a long list of individuals and families who have applied, and unfortunately we don't necessarily have the resources for, but we are trying to the best of our ability to, one, work through that list, and to the extent that we have that funding and those resources, get those funds into the hands of Americans in the form of microgrants, and two, in many cases, you know, move those applicants over into the 1K funnel and essentially vouch for those individuals as part of the 1K nomination process. So again, the way to go about requesting or applying for relief from Humanity Forward is twofold. One is to secure a nomination for the 1K project, and the other is to kind of go directly to our microgrants COVID relief page at humanityforward.com and apply directly.
Awesome. Thank you, Ethan. We do have a question for Liam now. One question was, how can we convince people to actually come out and advocate for it at this time, though? And our voices are heard online, but it doesn't seem like anything is getting done in Congress. You know, how do we get any legislation passed? Mitch McConnell, what's the strategy?
Great question. Great question. So the totally understand. It definitely does.
Being part of Yang
it's definitely easy to feel like
nothing is easy.
The motion is not turning into real action.
To go, man.
So I very much empathize with the question. The strategy is this: there is going to be, in all likelihood, in the next number of months, some people think it will be there. Well, in the next number of months, there'll be a COVID-19 stimulus package of some kind. This will likely be the last one. I'm sure as many of you were following this, there was the CARES Act, which was passed in March on a largely bipartisan basis, right out the gate. No. Then there basically nothing real has really happened since then. There's been many efforts, but mostly negotiations have stalled. So whether or not a relief package materializes in December before the end of the year during the so-called lame duck Congress, or if something happens in January, right before President-elect Biden is inaugurated on the 20th, such that he could come in and sign it in his first few days in office, or it gets dragged out to February or March, it is sort of widely viewed as the situation that there will be some package that happens between now and the next 3 to 4 months at the longest. So our objective is to ensure that in that package, there's going to be money going out, right? There's going to be hundreds of billions of dollars at least going out into the economy. And so our goal is to make sure that those dollars, as many as possible of those dollars are going directly to people in the form of direct cash relief, as opposed to large and complex programs that
Sounds good to me.
A smaller percentage of which actually get to people, or going to larger corporations that don't need it. We want to make sure it's going to people. And so that money's on the table. So what we're working to do right now is build a bipartisan coalition around this in particular, because what you find is when you look back at that CARES Act from March, there were a lot of different elements in it that people were sort of behind at that portion that have frankly lost support over time, that have not been as successful, have not been as broadly popular. And this piece though, cash relief, which in that, if y'all remember that in that initial, it wasn't perfect, but in that initial CARES Act, there was that $1,200 stimulus check that went out to a large segment of American people. That check was the most popular part of the CARES Act package. That was the thing that everyone liked. All the members were for it. They all agree that at least one more check should be included in what goes out next. People who voted for Trump liked it. People who voted for Biden liked it. Everyone liked that one check. And so it's kind of, it's like, it's unimpeachable, right? It's zero administrative cost.
What do you know about that?
It's incredibly efficient. There's zero opportunity for fraud. So on every count, it's smart policy. It's smart politics. So our goal now is to say, hey, we did this already once, basically. You know, we tested this out with one check. Let's just do that same thing on a recurring basis for some temporary limited series of months as a way to get money into the economy on a recurring basis that people can know it's there, they can plan around it, families can have a sense of security, ability to pay for their bills. We can start injecting money into local economies that need it. We can start getting disposable income into the hands of consumers. They can start spending it at their local small businesses to prevent them from going under. And that pitch is one that you get a lot of receptivity to all across the political spectrum. And so what we're working on now is doing that over the next number of weeks, December and January, such that when this next stimulus package comes up for negotiations, this recurring cash relief is a part of it. So how does that connect to what you're doing, what all of you are doing out there, you know, supporting this? Is that when you donate to Humanity Forward, when you volunteer for Humanity Forward, or when you're spreading the good word about direct cash relief as a policy, that gives us ammunition to be able to go to these offices and say, look how popular this is. So even if you're not seeing the direct results of your activism at this stage, I promise you that you will see it when the next stimulus package comes up. And so that would be my answer, Shelby, to those people who are asking.
Cut off my mic.
And so keep it up, like keep the donations coming, keep the volunteerism coming, keep the activism going, because it's going to be critical that come that new negotiation period, that members of Congress recognize that this is the central idea that can help the American people.
Cool. Thank you, Liam. Hopefully that answered. I know there's a few questions kind of centered around this, also about, you know, how do we reach out to Republicans, that sort of idea. So hopefully that answered everybody's questions. Question for Erica. How does one get into the Yang Gang and or volunteer?
Yang Gang is you self-involve yourself. If you want to be a Yang Gang member, you just claim it. That's number one. In order to become a volunteer and to get involved at a level where you're directly helping our advocacy program, first you go to volunteers.movehumanityforward.com and click on register. That's number one. Once you do that, you're going to fill out a form that shows us what your interests are so that we can plug you in. Also on the volunteers portal, there is a page for available job openings to volunteer for. Very specifically, we have small business task force positions available for the UBI advocacy program. So if you want to get involved specifically with any area of what we're doing, you'll see a job listed on that portal. It's really important that you fill out the registration form. We will then send you a welcome email which will have a link for a survey to get a lot of details about you. We really want that so that we can find out how to plug you in the best way possible. So yeah, come join us. Our teams are always looking for more help. You know, volunteering is a special way to support what you believe in, and we have plenty of opportunity for you to do so.
Awesome. I have one last question that should be a short one, but I've seen several people, and in case you missed it in the chat, asking where to find merchandise.
But,
John,
that's the
do you want to
life
just
I'm
quickly
living now.
give them an update on that?
Sometimes normal people.
What a
insane
great
shit,
question.
You know what I mean?
It's the only question I want to answer. It is shop.movehumanityforward.com. That's it.
Why y'all ducking? You know you got the emails. You want
Someone
to
just
show
messaged
y'all
me
the emails
this. I thought it was kind of
saying
funny.
that I'm gonna take
Brody, who
people to
worked with
court?
us on the campaign.
Come on, you guys can't answer
like,
my questions.
You look
y'all
like you're
doing?
having loads of fun.
Are y'all about the realness?
And I just want to explain myself a little bit. This format just feels like another
Zach, why you
staff
hanging
call.
your head? I thought you were the
That
campaign
everybody
manager.
here knows how thrilled I am with these staff
You're supposed to
calls.
be the heart and soul
It's
of
the
this, man.
format. It's not you.
Pick that
It's
head
not
up.
anybody on this stream. It's just the format. I don't like meetings. This feels like a meeting.
You're
So I'm
goddamn
just
right.
trying to explain myself a little bit.
Your meeting should be more focused.
Go buy merch. Great question.
Yeah, thank you, John. All right. So yeah, big thing here is merchandise. We have lots of holiday merchandise coming out. Be good for gifts
I
for
already asked
people.
about
Go to the
helping y'all with
website.
making money.
That's great.
And merchandise. This
And
is my
now
boy
for the
Mark
moment
right
you're
here.
probably all been waiting
You know,
for.
honestly,
We have Zach
I would like
Grauman,
to,
who was a
work on
former
disability
campaign
issues with
manager,
Yang Gang, but,
executive director
they
at
just let me
Humanity
down on so many
Forward.
things,
He's
man.
going to
I
chat
just
a little
really
bit about
couldn't really in
what
good
Andrew Yang has been up to,
put more in front of
and
them.
what we're doing here at Humanity Forward. Just kind of give an update for everybody.
You guys show
All
me how to
right.
do some basic
Hi,
shit
buddy.
before I put some
Hear
more
me
stuff
okay?
in your hands.
Beautiful.
That's it.
I'm live from Georgia.
All right, Zach.
I laughed when Shelby said the moment you've all been waiting for.
I'm not
I
laughing.
appreciate that,
I
but
blew up
I
the
know
chat
it's
right
probably
there.
not true. But I do appreciate you guys taking the time. And for those of you not watching this live who tune in later, I appreciate you guys too.
Live.
A lot has happened, I guess, to say the least, since we started Humanity Forward in February. A lot. COVID was not a thing when we were wrapping up our presidential run. So what I thought I would do, get some of us
Maybe
together and talk about what Andrew Yang is up to. What is he doing? And if I'm you, I'm listening to this, I'm like, well, I want to know about what's he doing in Georgia, what is he doing with Biden. I heard rumors about mayor or other political office. So let me knock out those three real quick, and then let's talk more about the awesome work this team is doing.
I listened to.
So,
okay,
let's talk about Georgia. I'm here now. I'm in, I think, southern Atlanta is where I'm exactly. I'm kind of near the airport. So we're really excited to bring.
Look,
Andrew and I had these vast dreams of bringing the entire Yang Gang down to Georgia.
Footage that I had
and
with
then,
and you could
COVID,
see honestly, he's not yelling out
decided
York,
to get
so
worse than not better, if you will. So that's bringing a whole bunch of people out of state.
No one's perfect.
Into the state when you're
got some good ideas.
Helping Senate candidates run, basically on Republicans or certain members of that leadership being bad at managing COVID is not the best message. So we are down here, but a lot of what we're encouraging you guys to do is to help remotely. So helping text banking, phone banking, donating if you can. We'll have a list of orgs. I think we put them out in email. Andrew tweets about them all the time. There's a ton of organizations doing awesome work that we're partnering with on the ground here. But want to be safe, guys. COVID is very, very real. So mask up. Don't be crazy about travel. And if you can help remotely, please do in Georgia. Number two, Biden. No news to share on the Biden front, guys. There's a lot of rumors about roles we're being vetted for and things like that. The reality is, look, we're happy to help. We are in conversations as we have been since we dropped out of the race. We've got a great relationship with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So
right now, Zach.
if we're fit, great. And if not, no hard feelings, guys. I know it can feel like a little jab to the Yang Gang if we're not the future XYZ secretary, but
a jab.
That's
a fucking punch.
This movement is not getting stopped that way, if you will. So it's important, but nothing to share. No news, if you will, sadly, on that front. And then whether it's mayor or other cabinet roles, elected offices. There was a Politico writing rumors.
Where is the review of your
today about some poll we had nothing to do with the mayor run for New York City?
How's your performance?
Look, no decision's been made. It's an honor to be considered. I know Andrew and I are both New Yorkers, so even thinking that we would be, in the conversation is kind of humbling. But focus on Georgia right now. Focus on cash relief and Humanity Forward and getting Congress to pass something. And the reality is of this, guys.
Yeah, we have different focuses. That's okay.
No matter what Andrew Yang's political future is, no matter what that is, what we're going to talk about right now and what we're doing with Humanity Forward is of utmost importance. No matter whatever he pursues next, this is going to matter and matter massively. So, wanted to talk to you a little bit, basically of where we were, where we're at, and where we're going, guys, with Humanity Forward. So, a bit of a backdrop. And I think it's fun to just think about this. We launched this organization after we dropped out of the presidential race to simply keep the momentum going. We had thousands, hundreds of thousands of our supporters, millions of supporters all over the country. How do we keep
momentum going?
The ideas of the campaign, the vision for this campaign, the vision of Andrew Yang going, because it can't die with just a race. It was more than just a race, and all of you sitting on this call, this Zoom video right now, felt that the same way I felt it.
Real iffy.
So we wanted to keep the momentum going, and then COVID hit. And so we ended up with a global pandemic. And on one way, it was great for the policies of the campaign because cash relief became the most talked about policy in the world, and of course, the United States. But also really dark because a lot of what we predicted on the campaign came true. And it was really sad to watch technology continue to accelerate and our future as a country start to deteriorate. And so as an org, we went from keeping momentum going to start to become a cash relief organization. So we've donated over $9 million in cash relief right now, as of today, with more than 20,000 people and a lot of work that Erica and Ethan and Shelby and Murph and all these guys and gals on the call today. It's kudos to them and a lot of you for being able to donate and helping us find others to donate.
That's all right, but you can't.
But our big takeaway, kind of where we've been, is that that was important, but it's not enough, nor is it really sustainable, right?
Because then you're.
It felt the analogies that we're putting out a fire.
Straight up, bro.
But we weren't preventing new ones from starting, or you're throwing water on the fire, but you haven't found the root cause. Which is where we are now. So right now,
and I have 4 people.
We are Humanity Forward. We are an advocacy organization. We're fighting for everything we stood for in the campaign. You guys know, like the back of your hand, human-centered capitalism, rewriting the rules of the economy, universal basic income, the various forms of democracy reform. I always called it like the rational progressive, if you will. But we've endorsed candidates up and down the ballot who believe in our policies and our vision. We've had some awesome victories, some tough losses. It's been a weird election cycle, but we really feel good about the people we've brought into the fold. We've organized across the country. Erica, you guys have seen a lot of in a good way. We are growing our footprint up and down the ballot in terms of small state races and then big Senate campaigns. So seeing, and we raised a ton of money for Joe at the presidential level as well. And I think what's really cool for those of you in the AAPI community who have seen a lot of our work there, the Asian American community had the highest turnout in the battleground states this cycle, and their turnout was massive. You could argue it swung Georgia, you can argue it swung Arizona, you can argue it had a large play in almost every swing state. And I like to think we had a lot to do with that. So for those of you who believe in us and believe in Andrew, thank you for that. And
they love the power.
So
you know what I mean? They are
and right now, as an org, Humanity Forward, we're specifically focused on one big thing, and that's getting cash relief passed in Congress.
They are really,
because no matter what Andrew does in the future, that is massive. The House is on fire. We have to solve the root problem. People don't have money and they cannot work in this pandemic, and that is where we're going. And the building the support for these ideas is imperative. So we like to say that cash relief is having kind of a Goldilocks moment.
And then they actually go the route of the
which is like the Republicans and Democrats can both tolerate it, even like it. It's like that just right moment for cash relief.
They need to grab.
So we need to organize, advocate, and build up a powerful network to get cash relief passed for millions of Americans and force Congress's hand. So the vision is simple, guys. We're going to turn this movement campaign into a legitimate political force. So I want you to think Planned Parenthood or the NRA. Now think of them as way less polarizing.
I turned this volume down. Let me see if I could turn it down in the
where it's powerful. It's a broad tent, and what we think Humanity Forward can be for cash relief and universal basic income. So
all right. Yeah, this is better. No doubt. All right, so look. This guy, he's the type of guy, right? Yeah, I'm not mad at that because we need people like this too, yeah? But unfortunately, they get to thinking that they're better than us. He's one of this middle class, the bourgeoisie. I'm not mad at that, yeah? But the fact of the matter is that he is one of them people that's not truly poor or not really truly disempowered, yeah? Who is actually working on behalf of the disempowered, but stop listening to the disempowered. That's a huge problem. It's not good. You can see the evidence of what I put on the screen right here. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. So I have about almost half what they have, maybe a third. That's okay. That's pretty fucking good. Thank you so much, guys. So yeah, you know, he's the campaign manager for Andrew Yang, and he's got to be a smart guy to have that, to be given that responsibility. So I'm sure he has some good qualifications. But you know, fact of the matter is that, you know, on the ground, yeah, where the real stuff happens, he's not there. That means he doesn't know what's really going on. Yeah, that's just facts. That's what I learned from my time of, you know, having businesses, being on the ground level and being at the top. And I get it too, they have limited time, so they have to deal with the people that are talking to thousands of people. But they are disconnected and they are not listening. Look at this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Where can we be really effective at the grassroots?
I'm doing good work for them.
So, here's our end result.
They're here to supposedly answer questions or to talk with people. They have completely ignored me.
We want serious UBI legislation proposed in 2021. So not just a one-off cash relief bill. We want legitimate legislation.
What kind of allies are these?
The time is right for that. And we want this to be a political force for years to come. This is the entity that's going to exist.
I will be here for years to come. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of movements that went down, you know what I mean? You take a look at NIPERG, one of the few that exist, yeah? There's also, like, you know, other PERGs around that were started by Nader. But look at, like, Dukakis. Look at, like, you know, what's his name? That guy whose daughter is on The View or something? McCain? McCain, yeah? What's going on with his dynasty right there? The Bushes, well, they're in a real disturbing way, but, you know, do they have any particular political grassroots organization type thing going on? They have a machine.
Car lines. The one I'm talking about was in Dallas, lining up for food for Thanksgiving. And the amount of cars is heartbreaking, is as far as the eye can see. And there are more and more.
These cats are machine types, but they're not in the machine yet, so there's nothing really for them to gain for us people on the ground. They're not treating us any better than, you know, I wonder if I would be treated better in the Trump campaign. I'm serious. Yeah, this does matter. Yeah, the way that you treat volunteers, the way that you treat your ground forces, your allies, does matter. Zach, Erica, Humanity Forward.
I guess he's an Irish philosopher. He said whether it is to be utopia or oblivion.
Listen, there was another event, yeah. There was a there's a video on my channel. There was an income movement march, and I love those people. They're not bad people. I had to fold up the Tulsi flag, even though she was the first one to promote UBI. You know what I mean? If it's convenient for them and they get their win, you know, we can actually be killed off or, you know, removed or silenced. And that's really, if you look at the evidence, tell me different. Tell me different, yeah? Yang Gang, you know what I mean? You have a choice right now. I am the type to have your back. I will have your back. I know Yang's had Tulsi's back in some ways. That kind of, I don't want to be unpleasant about this, but I'll say it's kind of like that fake way, you know what I mean? Like, he would say something like this, yeah? He would say, which is pretty direct, but it's not as direct as it could be, right? Yeah, he said, I guess that the number of delegates required to be in the convention will be one plus whatever Tulsi Gabbard gets. Something like that, yeah? He admitted that. He just straight up said it was unfair, right? But he did not say, I condemn the DNC. I demand an answer to this ridiculous bullshit. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Yeah? That's what I'm saying. This is bullshit. This is ridiculous. I think Yang, right, was also treated badly too, and we could be allies here. You're working with these, with this guy. What's this guy doing for you? Listen, Brendan is very good. I'm not working with this guy. Nobody work with me. I have my own vision. My vision right now, which is honestly, Yang, to put you in a very good spot. You have great ideas. I support a lot of your ideas. All of them except for freaking not backing me up. What the fuck is that? But the thing is that really we need a coalition. We need a coalition that can win. I've been part of the Green Party for over 20 years. I'm telling you, the apathy, it's just too much there. And we have to stop being split. We have to come together. That's the end. No more of this being split. We're coming together. I'm bringing it together. I don't care. And I know the leadership of all the organizations will hate me because I honestly, it's kind of like threatening to replace them or disempower them in a way, but not for me. I'm not running for leadership. I'd never will run for any. I cannot win. I'm an Asian American. I cannot win these races. Some pretty thing's gonna jump up somebody in another preferable minority. No, I cannot win. Cannot. So I learned to live on the edges. You live in good land, Zachy. Help this guy, needs a haircut.
But from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Let's change the world, guys. All right? I'll get right back to Shelly. Thank you all.
Thank you, Zach. That was awesome.
Was it now? Those are awesome words, but what about the actions? What about the actions, bro?
More often, hopefully. So please tell your friends about this if you know that they were not able to attend. But we're so thankful for all of you guys coming here tonight.
I really wish, I hope that we can make this up. I hope this is all big misunderstanding. It really is. It's pretty clearly not. It's been more than a week. But you know, they have time for this, but they don't have time for a phone call with me.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome. I felt like an honored guest. I felt like someone who's contributing and who has contributed and continues to contribute and will contribute in the future. That's how I feel like, you know what I mean? But that's okay. I don't do this for the accolades. I don't do this for recognition. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? You ain't stopping me. You ain't fucking stopping me. Hey, anyways, I'm sorry. I just went a little crazy right there. I hope you guys enjoying the stream right here. Brunch is their action. Y'all are hilarious. Hey. Yo, thanks a lot, man. I don't know who checked this out, but y'all my people. Thank you so much. Thank you. I bet you that's Tarot Man. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Thank you.